Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, I said this on multiple occasions, and I will say it each and every time I discover this, and I find it to happen. And that is, we find information that was not provided in other interviews and other articles that had the subject. We find this information in articles unrelated to the subject, which we go, so that's what happened. You said it, so this gives the answer that you didn't give us, I don't know, a week ago. But this guy talks about this subject without being the subject of this interview. So I have here an interview, supposedly, with the commander-in-chief of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, Valery Zaluzhnyi, which I don't know. I personally I'm not convinced that he is still in one piece. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. I have the right to be a dumbass, okay? So I'm entitled to make a fool of myself. So I'm not convinced, but it doesn't really matter. Let's go with the flow and see what's going on here. So we have this article from Business Insider, and this is from today, June 30th, 2023, by Jake Epstein. So this is the headline. Angered by counteroffensive complaints, Ukraine's top general says the expected mission is, and I'm quoting, not feasible at all with just the weapons his army has now. So my first question would be, so why did you start the mission in the first place if you say it's not feasible with the weapons you have at hand? Hello? Alright, let's see what's going on here. Ukraine is now several weeks into its long-awaited counteroffensive that Mr. Zaluzhnyi says is not feasible at all with just the weapons we have right now. Why did you start it then? But Valery Zaluzhnyi, Kiev's top general, doesn't want to hear complaints that it's moving too slow. Well, maybe it's a problem because when you say these kind of things right here, Mr. Zaluzhnyi, you will be decapitated by these guys in Kiev. You were decapitated, if you remember, when he said last year, I think in June or July, when a reporter asked Zaluzhnyi, hey, what do you think of an offensive? Remember the offensive that eventually materialized in October, I think it was, the Ukrainian offensive, counteroffensive. And Zaluzhnyi said, like a normal person, I think, as I said, Zaluzhnyi is, to me, I think is the most rational as of now, from all those guys that are in charge of the Ukrainian nation. And he is an Ukrainian. So, and he said, well, to have a counteroffensive, I need to have about, what, 300 to 500 tanks. And everybody was like, oh, shit, don't say it. What do you mean, so we don't have them? Or something like this. Why do you say that? So eventually Zaluzhnyi said, I was asked a question. Was I supposed not to answer it? He said, okay, I'm not going to give any more interviews. It seems like it's a popularity contest with those guys over there in Kiev. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut and just defend my country. That's what he did. Now, somehow, some people say that he's not all there. And this guy said that they had an interview with Zaluzhnyi. Maybe, blame the dead or blame the incapacitated, because they said now that maybe Zaluzhnyi was the one that blew up the Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2. So if that was a terrorist attack, Zaluzhnyi did it without the knowledge of the weasel, Zelensky. Really? In case, let's punish Zaluzhnyi now. Well, he's incapacitated, we can punish him. Okay. Blame the dead now, or the whatever. So let's move on here. And I'm quoting, this is not a show. He told the Washington Post, oh my God, Zaluzhnyi, if that's him, sounds like him. Every day, every meter is given by blood. This is not a show. Correct, but this sounds like other weasels that I heard. So I'm not certain, but that's true. Not a show. Ukraine has fended off Russia's advances. General Valery Zaluzhnyi, the commander-in-chief of Ukraine's armed forces, told the Washington Post that it pisses him off, and quote, to hear commentary that the counteroffensive operations are moving slower than anticipated. Kiev's military is currently undergoing several offensive maneuvers along the front line in the eastern and southern regions and has made small but at time costly territorial gains in the process. It's true. It's true. And I'm quoting Zaluzhnyi. This is not a show, according to Zaluzhnyi, who said in the recent interview with the Post, which was published on Friday. And I'm quoting again, it's not a show the whole world is watching and betting on or anything. Every day, every meter is given by blood. Correct. And then he says here that without being fully supplied, let's start with the beginning here, to be successful with the assault and conduct the kind of operations some expect from Kiev's forces, specifically a fast, hard-hitting offensive, Ukraine's Iron General. Stop using the Iron Man. Stalin means man of steel. So, and stop using Iron or Steel, General of Steel, or you're gonna associate him with other guys with Iron Cross, Iron Guard, and many other things that are not doing a service to the general. If you read history and if you know something about this kind of iron things, says he needs more advanced weaponry from Kiev's Western military partners, and I'm quoting, without being fully supplied. Well, nuclear weapons, fully supplied. These plans are not feasible at all. Why did you start? Zaluzhnyi noted, but they are being carried out. So that means you send people to death just like that? I guess. Yes, maybe not as fast as the participants in the show, the observers would like, but that is their problem. Okay. He argued that NATO doctrine calls for neutralizing enemy air power and securing air superiority before conducting a ground offensive, but Ukraine doesn't have the weapons to compete with Russia in the air. So send us the F-16s, see how they're going to be blown up by the Russians, and then we're going to win, basically. And that when that's going to fail, they're going to say, well, send us some rockets or missiles that can travel 1,000 kilometers so we can hit Moscow. And after that fails, send us some military troops, I don't know, about 1 million. And then after that fails, give us some nuclear weapons. And after that is not provided, then they lose, right? Or the Russian government falls. And I'm quoting, the enemy is using a different generation of aviation, Zaluzhnyi told the Post. It's like we'd go the offensive with bows and arrows now, and anyone would say, are you crazy? Well, it's a lot of money, and here they say that, okay, earlier this week, the Pentagon announced a new $500 million security assistance, that's how it's called, package for Ukraine. Weapons to kill people. Put it straight. Pushing the total dollar amount for all military aid. Weapons to kill people. Provided by the US to the Eastern European country to a whopping figure of more than $40.5 billion since Russia launched its full-scale invasion in February 22. This is much bigger if you add all the aid. But hey, what do I know? So now they're going to receive the ATACMS, ATACMS, I don't know how you pronounce it, ATACMS, they say here that Army Tactical Missile Systems, which have a range of nearly 200 miles, that's about 300 kilometers, and can be fired from Ukraine's existing inventory of US-provided high-mobility artillery rocket system, HIMARS. Yeah, they're going to receive everything, F-16, send them everything, fight the Russians however you want, right here. The Biden administration has already approved the export of F-16s by allies to Ukraine. You see, this is why you should not trust these guys. Every time they say, should we do that? Don't play, just send it. Because you did with every little weapon you send over there. Should we? No, we're not going to send tanks. And you send tanks. Oh, we're not going to send missile systems. You send them. Oh, no, not long-range missile systems. Now you're about to send these guys. Oh, no, we're not going to send. Definitely now no planes. Yeah, you can send them F-16s. I mean, really? No, we're not going to send troops. No. Okay, and I believe you. Okay, play longer. Or like Paganini here. Hey, my friends, here it is, Zaluzhnyi Angry. Well, why did you start it? Why did you start if you knew that you were ill-equipped? Now he tells us, Zaluzhnyi, that he can't win without air superiority. You didn't have the planes. Why did you start this? Aren't you the commander of the blah, blah, blah? Or that guy over there is the commander-in-chief? is above you somehow. The clown that about what, a few years ago he was on the how do you call it, on a stage making jokes, nasty jokes. Yeah, that's the guy that now is above you with a career of a military. That's embarrassing, man. And the same here. You got Biden being the commander-in-chief. I mean, I have to go down to each and every civilian in charge of the U.S. military. These guys are in charge of the U.S. military as I am in charge of the universe. Universe, not even. Anyway, my friends, here is with this guy. Why did you start? And the fact that he said what he said, I don't think, if he said that, so let's start with this one. I have doubts that he said that. Secondly, if he said that, then these guys are going to smack him, or it's going to be a little problems in, as I said at the beginning of this war in Ukraine, there might be a civil war within Ukraine at one point when the faction in the military will break, or maybe the military will take over, and then the Americans are going to take their fingers off and everybody else, and the military will do what they do best, take over, take care of these guys. These guys are going to fly if they can, I don't know, London, Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, New York, I don't know, somewhere like that, usually, and they will run over there, and that would be the end of it. And this guy's going to talk to the Russians, and they're going to find something, and then Americans will be all upset with the Ukrainians taking their life in their hands, because right now they're not. They're just as someone said, we're gonna support, Biden said, we're gonna support, and not only other weasels, we're gonna support Ukraine for as long as it takes, and we're gonna support them until the last Ukrainian. So after Ukraine is eliminated and the nation is, what's gonna happen? You move into Romania and have those idiots fight for you? I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever. Maybe you start with the Moldova first, but Moldova has what, 2.5 million people. That's like that. The Baltic states are, Romania has about 17, because about 8 million or so they immigrated. Why? Because it was so fantastic in that beautiful country, democratic, independent, and free. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.